Hey everyone, welcome to the 51st episode of the BDE Sports Talk Podcast, here to give you the latest scoop in the world of sports in the great state of Michigan and the great city of Detroit. Fellas, good to see you. We're back for another one after I said we were going to take a break. Too much to talk about this week.
Let's go.
First off, though, let's talk about our fellas. Sorry, Jackie. Our people at Adobo Boy. Adobo Boy is the official sponsor of BD Sports Talk Podcast. As you know, Dean, Eddie, and I are proud Filipinos who love a good Filipino meal, and Adobo Boy delivers just that with their amazing food and vibes that are unmatched in the food industry. Us three, we've been there. We love it. We love Ace, Jackie, Red. Good people. Made us feel right at home. Food was absolutely amazing. Not only do they have delicious food, they also go against the grain of a traditional restaurant and tinker with the menu to bring you an amazing variety of Filipino cuisine. The menu rotates weekly, so there's always a reason to come back to try more authentic Filipino food. But we got that beautiful, delicious adobo dish that's named after their son, Red. It's an iconic Filipino dish. I don't think the people know.
They don't know what's in it yet.
They have no idea what's in it.
No idea. Well, let me tell you. It's it's tender pork braised with soy sauce and vinegar on a bed of rice with Jackie's achara and some cucumber and a fried egg on top. It's fantastic. I recommend buying two. Eat one separately, as I do and as Ace recommends, or you can mix it like Bill and Ed do. It's worth buying both just to give it a try, honestly. So do it. Do it.
Do it. Get you a side of lumpia too. Get you a side of lumpia.
Can't go wrong.
They're delicious.
Can't go wrong.
Yep. So if you're into trying new and different food and would just like some amazing adobo and vibes, stop into Adobo Boy, where owners Ace, Jackie, and Red are amazing people who genuinely care about your experience there. The 4 pillars. Hit them with the 4.
4 pillars of Adobo Boy. One, as soon as you walk in, the first pillar is there's a good vibe going on inside that place, man. You go in there, you get all the smells, you see the people, everybody's having a good time. 2, you're gonna get amazing food. That's a huge pillar. Going into a restaurant, knowing you're gonna get great food. The third pillar is, come on, 5% off. You get 5% off a great food just by saying BD Sports Talk Podcast. 5% off. Just say BD Sports Talk Podcast. And of course, the 4th pillar. It's you. The customer. You make Adobo Boy what it is today. So you got the vibes. You got the great food. You get 5% off. And you're there. Can't beat it. 5% off. Just say BD Sports Talk Podcast. Incredible deal on an amazing food and an amazing time.
And an incredible person to give us that information. Thank you, Eddie. Adobo Boy is open
You're welcome.
Tuesday to Friday, 11:30 a.m. to 2 p.m. for lunch, 5 to 7:30 for dinner. Saturday, same schedule, except open for dinner until 8:30 p.m. Adobo Boy is located at 3740 28th Street Southeast in Kentwood, Michigan. Inside the amazing, I'm going to call it the amazing food hall. Inside is amazing Myanmar, brunch and rice, and Adobo Boy. Adobo Boy is right in the middle. Get there. Give them the 5% code. Get fed. Get happy. It's always better at Adobo Boy. And let's segue that right into the Pistons, who continue their string of bad luck. They could use some Adobo Boy. Where for the second year in a row, they pick number 5. Fellas,
Third time in the last 4 years.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Couldn't believe it. Do you think they should just trade the pick? just trade the pick, keep it. I don't know.
And I think the problem with that is it's just they don't have enough to really give away. I don't think that because and it's a weak draft is what people are saying, which is probably the best bet for them not to get the number one pick, I guess. I think it'd be nice to get the pick of the litter, probably draft the Alex Sarr or whatever. But I mean, it was disappointing. Obviously, I mean, we're at least hoping. I mean, they didn't even need to get the number one pick. I would have been happy if they'd gotten the third pick or the second. I mean, they're terrible. They need the firepower. They need something out of it. I don't know. It just seems like they got hosed. I know it's all based on luck, I guess. You know, it's just like gambling. I mean, when you suck, as we all know, it just doesn't pay out for you when you gamble. And I mean, I don't think they're trying to, you know, suck. I don't know. It seems like they're trying now at this point. But I mean, when you really look at, like Eddie said, they've only had that number one pick once in the last 4 years, and they've been the worst team the last 4 years. And then you look at like over like the history of like picks. I mean, you look at like teams like the Cavs, who had, I wrote it down. They had three number one overall picks in a span of 4 years, and they were terrible. I mean, don't get me wrong, they were bad and they deserved the picks. But what about the Pistons? Where's I feel
Philly
like they're putting
Philly had that for a minute.
Had two in a row.
Mhm.
And it's like, I mean, are they like, they're saying they're only putting in one card or one ball or whatever they're doing for the odds, but it's like, I feel like they're just like, just throw in like 2 or 3 extra Pistons lottery balls and we'll we'll start the bids at number 5, huh? That's what it feels like. And well, like I said, there isn't a lot of like guys in this draft that are consensus overall number 1 overalls as far as I've seen. So I mean, there could be some guys that fall to you that could turn out to be something. I mean, you look at certain drafts that people have said were going to be the worst drafts, and you know, you get guys like that are in the teens that end up being the best players in those drafts, like Giannis. You know, that draft he was in was supposed to be like one of the worst drafts. And, you know, I mean, he's obviously a superstar generational type of guy. So maybe they can pull something out. But I mean, I've seen their odds and we can talk about that in a little bit, but I don't know. I was disappointed. I was very disappointed.
Sure, man. Yeah. General consensus is around the league, say the 5th pick this year is like having the 9th to 12th in a regular year. So I mean, screwed again. But who do they get with the first pick anyway? You know, you're talking about Sarr, maybe that Ricecar guy, also from France. I don't know. I don't know. I hope that dude falls to us. But honestly, if there isn't a new president by then, I dread what they do on draft day anyway.
Right.
I'd prefer at that point that Trader Troy just trade, because he certainly won't make the right choice with the pick. And so maybe trade down and get like Filipowski from Duke or whatever. They need, just like the Red Wings a year ago, they need scorers. Like people that can score and at least play manageable defense. Like effort down there would be huge.
No.
But I almost feel like it's better they trade, because they're not going to get a rookie that's going to take them over the top. By that, I mean 4th in the division. You know?
Yeah.
Even trade Duran.
If you have to. I mean,
if you think you fit better with a scoring center, then maybe that's the way to. I mean, because the formula we got now is clearly not working. And I like Duran a lot. But what can you get for a 20-year-old kid who's rebounds like Drummond in his prime? I don't know. But yeah, no, they were screwed. Par for the course. And then again, like I said, who would they get anyway? And I'm sure we wouldn't make the right choice. So
I know I've seen the two guys that have been one of the two guys that have been mocked to him, and the other guy I feel like they might. I think there's if they stay put are more likely to draft, which would be the Reed Shepard, the kid from Duke, I think, or Kentucky.
that
Only
guard,
because he's a guard. I know. I just feel like that's the option they would go with, just because he's considered the best shooter in the class.
he's a white kid.
That's who. Yeah. Well, the two guys. Well, he's not necessarily mocked to them, but the other guy's also a white dude that's mocked to them. That Buzelis from the G League.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a tall forward. He fits team wise what they need, but he's just not. From what I've seen, his three is inconsistent. You're just drafting another guy that can't shoot. So,
Buzelis. I hope not, because that's not improving the team.
Right.
We got a good defensive big guy. Who can't shoot on a consistent.
Whoa. He's progressing.
I was talking about Duran.
Yeah,
but
too.
yeah, I mean the Buzelis could take Beef Stew's minutes. I mean, sure, that's fine.
I've seen trade scenarios where they trade Duran, and I mean it'll never come to fruition, I don't feel like, but Duran, even Marcus Sasser. I saw one with Marcus Sasser and Duran and trade for Brandon Ingram. Sure. And I'm like, that would get them to fourth in the division, I feel like.
Yeah. No, they need somebody. They need a star to play alongside Cade.
Yeah.
Jaden Ivey just ended up not being the guy for that. Yeah. Could be. Doesn't seem like it.
Yeah, I think
Asar isn't going to be that guy. He's like a Tayshaun's kind of guy, like we talked about. I mean, you got to have pieces around. There's no piece around that can score from outside of 6 feet from the basket. So,
right.
I mean, if Asar is going to get his name in the rafters like Tayshaun's going to.
Yeah, just helping hang him.
He's up there.
As the new president of basketball operations.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen either.
Nope, I don't think so.
He's not even one of the candidates from what I've read anymore.
Same, yeah.
Unfortunately. Well, maybe, I don't know. It's probably.
I hear Dwayne Casey's a shoe-in. All right, well, moving on to people that sign. Jared Goff gets extended 4 years, $212 million, $170 million guaranteed. Comes out to, like Eddie said before we started recording, $53 million AAV. Right?
Yep.
I do. We texted about it a little bit when it came out, and my first thought was, we've talked about this, right? We said he's earned it. He's earned an extension. We also, Eddie, you were pretty spot on in the around $50 million range, which makes a lot of sense. Still, I texted. I was just said, oh, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. I mean, you have to, right? I keep talking myself into it,
known as a loser in the Super Bowl and the NFC Championship.
At least he's been to the Super Bowl.
Why, have you?
No, exactly. Give me the
nobody's paying you $50 million a year.
They wanted to. I turned it down like Dave Chappelle did.
Yeah.
Now, given he'll probably be in 2 years the 10th highest paid quarterback, you know what I mean? Yeah. It's just the way it is. Same with Amon-Ra and Panay, So, what are your, my thoughts are? It was a lot of money, but he did earn it. I mean, we'll see what the future holds, but as of right now, I mean, he's the guy. I mean, you weren't going to get much better than him anyway right now, right? So you might as well pay him. Thank him for his. Do you feel like I shouldn't say? I don't even want to put this out there, but do you kind of feel like it's like a what you've done for us instead of what can you do for us?
This,
I think
You know what I mean?
this
Almost like a Miguel
contract?
Cabrera. Yeah. Almost like a Miguel Cabrera type of.
I think
I'm
it's a
not
mix.
saying.
It's a mix
but-
of both. I think it's what you've done and what you've been through, and all the effort you've put in over the last 3 or 4 years. But it's also, well, now we've paid you like you're going to be our guy. Now show us that you're the guy, and don't let the city down. I mean, that's pretty much what they're building for, is everything for the city and for the organization, obviously. But I don't hate the contract at all. I think the amount of years is pretty good. I mean, it coincides with like St. Brown's contract, and he, like you said, he's earned it. He didn't reset the market either, which I did appreciate a little bit, I guess, like, because he's still making less than Burrow, and I mean, and he's more healthy. But then that kind of puts him in that conversation of, is Jared Goff an elite quarterback? Is he an elite guy? I don't see him being elite, but as you said, in a couple of years, he's going to be much lower on that highest pay. I mean, you think of the guys that are coming up in free agency next offseason. You got Tua, Dak, Trevor Lawrence, and then there's one other guy that is also up for
Jordan Love.
Jordan Love. So all those guys are going to end up making more money than him next year. Plus Burrow already is. So in the end, it's not that bad. It opens up the window. Like now, I mean, this is kind of saying to the fan base, like, this is our window to try to win a Super Bowl. We're putting the money in. We've spent a lot of money on key core players. Now it's the time to really go for it. So overall, I like the extension. The more I've thought about it, because at first, like you said, Bill, it's like, whoa, that's a lot of money, But then you think, like, that's just the market, and the salary cap's just going to keep going up, and quarterbacks are just going to keep getting paid. At least he wasn't like the first $60 million quarterback. I mean, if he had reset the market, I would have been a little bit more like, I don't know. But being the second highest paid, he just wanted to be in that echelon of players and he's got the security that he wanted. So I mean, overall, I think it was a pretty good deal. We'll see what happens moving forward, though.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it had to get done. To me, the only thing you could really dog about the contract is really should have got done mid-season last year. Probably could have saved you 15 to 30 million in guaranteed money, but it is what it is, man. He had to see what he had, see if he could get in the playoffs, and you pay for it, right? That's just how it works. I mean, Daniel Jones got 40 million for one playoff win. 40
Right.
mil a season at that time. It was like, geez, you got to pay that guy that. So, and at the time, I'm like, man, if we get away with paying Jared Goff 40 mil a season, they should do that, and they probably could have if they re-signed him at the time Daniel Jones got signed, right?
Yeah.
You go fast forward a year. He makes 13 more mil a year as far as outside of guaranteed plus the other money. So, he's the QB. Here's our guy for the next 4 years. By this time next year, like you were saying, it probably looks like a steal. I mean, like you're saying, all those guys are up for extensions after the season. And I wouldn't take, at this moment, really any of those guys over Goff. You look at Dak, Tua, Jordan Love. I mean, at this moment, I can't say I'd feel confident that we're going to go farther with those guys.
Right.
And they're going to be making more money by the time it's all said and done. And currently, Goff is 5th highest in guaranteed money for quarterbacks. Lamar, Herbert. Hurts, Burrow, all above him. But I mean, now the Lions actually have a total of 5 total players who are in the top 5 guaranteed money at their respective positions. Can you guys name those guys?
I know 3.
For sure.
3 for sure is I'm trying to think. I don't think it's anybody on defense. Is Frank one?
Frank.
And then I'd imagine it's probably Decker. No, maybe. That's who I would say. I don't think it's anybody on defense.
One more.
I don't think anybody on defense has earned a top 5 contract, but maybe.
There's
Yeah.
one
Top
more.
5 guaranteed money at their position.
Okay, so not just the full.
Yeah.
I would still go Decker, Ragnow, St. Brown, Sewell, and Goff.
That's a great. Yeah, I can't imagine. I'm trying to think of
just can't.
anyone on defense right now.
I was like,
that
if Hutch
might
wasn't on his rookie
possibly-
deal, I would be like, okay, yeah, but I just can't.
I mean, even on Hutch's rookie deal, he's not that far outside. I mean, he's probably like 11th or something. But when I was
maybe
looking at it up.
Anzalone. I could see it being Anzalone, maybe.
Yeah, just
Or
want me to
Marcus.
say.
Marcus Davenport or DJ Reader.
Oh, yeah.
It's a good guess.
That's a good
Yeah,
guess.
go ahead and say.
So obviously Goff is 5th highest in guaranteed money at quarterback. Second player, St. Brown, who's 2nd for receivers in guaranteed money. Sewell, who's the number 1 tackle in guaranteed money. Ragnow,
Yeah.
number 1 center in guaranteed money. And the 5th player is Jack Fox.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Special teams.
Third
teams.
highest, baby.
Special teams.
At his
Special players.
position.
Special players.
What's up, brother?
What's up, brother?
But yeah.
Yeah. Tuesday.
But yeah, I mean, so it had to get done. It's a further sign of management continuing to do what they should be doing, keeping this core together for the next 3 to 4 years. Our window is officially open. And I just want to say, Jared, just don't break our hearts.
I know.
They're fragile. We're here now. You're our guy.
Please don't
Don't-
suck.
We've been hurt so many times. Please.
Please.
Just keep doing what you've been doing.
Please,
Yeah, right.
please don't turn into hobby bias.
And
Javi wasn't with us before.
That's
Javi
true.
can lick my
I
nuts,
get-
dude. We had hope for Javi. We've seen what Goff can do in a Lions uniform with the same offensive coordinator, the same core plus people. Javi was different. Javi didn't break my heart. He came in and just disappointed.
While
Yeah.
breaking my heart.
Jared actually, I heard he was talking on the radio, talking about the contract, and the one thing that was important to him was making sure there was a no
He
trade
wasn't
clause.
Javi Baez.
Yeah, exactly. He didn't want a no trade clause in there, because he doesn't want to have to get traded. Maybe he has a little PTSD from the Rams situation.
Yeah, re-sign that contract.
The way they restructured it, his cap hit this year is actually lower.
Hmm.
For
figured
this
they would do
upcoming
something
season.
like that with his contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad you brought that up because there was something I was reading Facebook comments after just to kind of gauge how the Facebook fans feel, as I like to call them. And honestly, I was more surprised by a majority of people agreeing with the contract and them getting it done. There was someone that was like, you just paid 3 players top money. What about the other? That's like 40% of the cap, and you still have to re-sign so and so. Everyone that comes up, and the response is always like, "Well, good thing you're not the GM," and
Yeah.
and it's like, you don't think these guys don't think about this stuff?
Right.
like we're probably in the best spot that as a franchise they've ever been, financially, leadership wise, you know.
Dude, your owner just had to put $350 million into escrow and guaranteed money
Hmm.
in the last 3 weeks. Take a step back.
Yeah.
You got 300 some million you can give these guys?
Yeah.
Yeah. No kidding.
Which brings me to something that I read. Jeez, Louise, that was a terrible sentence. Brings me to something I read the other day that I wanted to ask you guys about. So, re-signing players on contract deals. Okay, so there's 5 guys that do not have extensions right now. They're on their last year, so like Hutch, you know what I mean? Like,
Zeitler.
Well, he's probably got a rookie option too, Hutch. Huh?
He's got a 5-year.
No. What I was going to say is Hutch has, I think he has, 2 or 3 more years. But you'd want to extend him if you could, right? So taking out all those players,
2 years from now, yeah.
Yeah, 2 years from now, extent. Yeah.
there's 5 players in their contract year. Okay, it's Derek Barnes, Carlton Davis, Taylor Decker, Melifonwu, and Aleem McNeil. Those 5 guys. And it was a survey that said out of those 5, who would be the one you would sign? Like, you're looking at that list and it's like, okay, that dude's going to be on the team next year.
Of those 5 guys, I honestly, there's a good chance that none of those guys come back. But I think the most likely, in my opinion, is probably Decker. Just because offensive line, you keep Jared Goff upright. He's been a good left tackle. I don't think he would demand more than 2 years, maybe 3 years on a contract. Given it's a lot of guaranteed money again, but I just don't see. The thing is, I think it depends really, because if McNeil performs really well this year, I could see them possibly re-signing him. But his injuries, I think they're not. I think he's gone. I think they can replace the safety in Melifonwu. I mean, not to dog him. I mean, he was really good, but I think they could find somebody. Derek Barnes, I mean, he's been a project for the last 4 years, essentially. Yes, he had that interception in the NFC Championship game, and he kind of turned it around, but I just don't see he's good enough for them to re-sign. And then, who was the last guy?
Carlton Davis.
I don't, with them drafting 2 corners, I don't see them re-signing him either. But maybe, I mean, if he plays, I mean, it all comes down to how they play. But I just don't think they re-sign any of those guys but Decker if they re-sign him.
No, I would say Decker is definitely the most likely because it won't be a big contract. Unless he gets offered something big from some other place. It's like, oh, if we just bring this guy in, but he's towards the end. It depends what they do.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I could see him wanting to come back to finish the job, finish his story, you know, get that 2-year, I'm not saying a vet min, but something like Zeitler signs, because that's at the point in his career that he's at. So he's not going to get a crazy amount. And it depends what happens this year, his performance wise. Like if he falls off, they're probably not going to ask him to come back either.
Right.
You know, it doesn't take much. I mean, being that size, doing all that work for that long. I mean, Melifonwu, I've talked about this before. I don't think he's back anyway.
I don't think so either.
That's just where you're at in the secondary. I think Branch is probably going to be naturally moved there at the end of the day, and he's going to be an all-pro safety if they move him there. If not, then they got other plans, and that's fine too. They're football coaches. Derek Barnes, he's gone. Unless he comes back on a safe deal.
Yeah.
You know, like all these guys are re-signable in the right scenario. Davis, I think, will be gone. One, to highlight what you said about drafting corners, and another, he's probably going to value himself higher than what it's going to cost for us to bring him back. Which, if he helps us get to the Super Bowl this year, I mean, more power to you. I still don't think he could have a lights out year. I don't think we bring him back.
I don't think so.
Unless Terrion Arnold is a total flop. Then you're like, well, we got to put that money there now. So
right.
Yeah. In general, I guess saying all that to say, yes, I agree with Dean. It's Decker. McNeil would have to have a special year. And if he does, I almost think that's less likely for us to sign him because of what, like Chris Jones, like if you have a year like that and you're like, he's going to be as good as that guy, you hate to see him go. But like I just said, you gave out $350 million in guaranteed money. I mean, the cap's going to keep going up, right? Yeah. So I think right now Goff is projected to take up 20% of the cap space 2 years from now. But I don't think that accounts for the cap going up either. So it's a give and take. I'm sure Brad Holmes has thought about it.
And also that thing with Decker too is I mean, I'll stand by the pick of Manu, and I think if he develops right, I think they move Sewell to left and have him play right tackle. But I mean, development's got to be right. The dude's an athletic monster, so I mean, anything's possible. He can move people around.
The stuff that came out of like the rookie mini camp or whatever they had recently was just that his big thing was just hand placement. Like he got called for holding a bunch. Right. It's like, dude, that is very teachable. The guy's an athletic freak.
And he's moving guys around. It's not like he's like getting blown up. You know what I mean? Like he's moving dudes around.
From where he went to high school to where he just played in British Columbia, the dude didn't have to figure hand placement, right? He just throw him down.
Needed to be big. Yeah.
They came at him. He just pushed him to. I'm sure it was just.
Yeah. I saw a couple of highlights too of him just driving this guy back like 20 yards. You can see him in the background, just he's pulling a blind side out there. He's gonna throw him in the stands. I was like, dear Lord, look at this guy.
They're essentially like
broke.
What? Is he broke?
Living estranged from his mother. You said the blind side.
Yeah. Yeah, he is.
That's the clip you saw.
He can barely talk too.
Him getting adopted by a rich white family.
Yeah. Have you heard the stuff on that? Yeah, never mind.
Yeah,
we can move on from that.
Yeah. Yeah, they told him, it was like, hey, you're 6'7", just go dominate people.
I would have adopted him for sure.
He would have been in high school. No question.
Those 5 guys were targeted players who are projected to be starters this year, as of right now.
Yeah.
So that's why that list is there. So okay, yeah, I agree. I think it's Decker first. McNeil, if it'd be awesome.
First is strong, but most likely.
Yeah.
Because then again, dude, I mean, you just gave Sewell the most guaranteed money of any offensive lineman in history. You pay that to a left tackle.
Yeah.
That's true.
But there's a lot of really good left ends out there these days, though, too. So, I mean, you could keep them at right, but you're right, though. You pay that to a left tackle. You don't necessarily pay it. Especially since Goff's a right-hander.
Yeah, I was going to say, if Goff was left-handed, sure.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
If he was Mike Vick.
Yeah, I mean, that's
minus
a fair,
the dogs.
That's a fair thing to say because, like, what if Decker doesn't have a good year? I mean,
then he's gone for sure.
Right.
Yeah, then he's
so strong. Gone. Yeah, I agree.
Or they bring him on, like, he'd maybe have a nice transition into, like, working for the club,
I
could see that easily.
Left guard.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they could use him at guard sometimes.
I mean, they could use a left guard. Yeah.
As long as his ego isn't so inflated that he has to be a left tackle, then he'd probably be a real fine left or right guard in a pinch.
Yeah.
I
He's
think.
the only guy you never see get moved around the line. You think about it. Like when he
Well,
goes
you don't
down,
see
Sewell
Frank
goes to
moved
left.
either.
Well, yeah, but that's because he's hurt half the time.
They
You
move
see
his ass to
Graham
the
move.
bench.
You see Sewell move, but you've never seen Decker move around. Like if Sewell goes down, they don't move. I mean, given he's the left tackle, and I get it, but you know what I'm saying. He doesn't get moved around. He's not versatile.
Sometimes you move around based on what team you're playing.
It's true.
So, sticking with the Lions, schedule came out.
That's what I was referring to.
Week 1 is the Rams. What real quick, they have another early bye week.
Mhm.
Week 5. I read an article today actually where since 2015 they are their average bye week is 7. It's 7.1. That's the lowest in the NFL in that span. Next lowest is 7.5, which should have been Dallas. So, yeah, just a little stat there.
I read that. I read that too. I think that's kind of BS because they could really use that bye week later on in the season. I mean, most teams can, but they do seem to get those early bye weeks more often than not, for sure.
Well, to that credit, I was listening to John Jansen talk about it. Obviously, former NFL football player, former Lion. He was saying,
Wolverine.
I was gonna say.
What's that?
Former Wolverine.
Yeah, former Wolverine. Yep. And he was talking about it, and he goes, well, when you get that Thursday game, if they give you that Monday off, that's 4 days off. He's like, that is like having another bye week. Now, and I thought, oh, yeah, after Thanksgiving, but then the next week they have another Thursday game. But if they have that 4 days off, that's essentially kind of like having another bye week, is what he's trying to say. He goes, and when you're young, which they are a majority youngish team still, he goes, you really want that bye week out of the way early in the season. He goes, when you're older, you'd rather have it towards the middle. He's like, but as a young guy, when I first got in the league, a lot of guys that were younger were like, I'd rather have it early in the season and just get it out of the way. So it was just a nice perspective from a guy who played.
Right. Yeah.
Thoughts on the schedule?
Love it.
I mean, yeah, it's there. It's a schedule. It's. I mean, I know we had talked about it before, but on paper to me it looks like a tough schedule. I mean, I know Eddie, you had said it was like what, the 11th toughest in the NFL.
That's what it was. I think I saw on ESPN or something.
Something like that. I mean, it really isn't like the first like 12 weeks. It's going to come down to when they play the 49ers and the Bills. I mean, the Bears could probably be good if Caleb Williams is okay. They could be a pretty threatening team as is, I mean, you think of all those weapons, like it disgusts me. But and then the Packers, I mean, those last few weeks look rough. But I don't know. I mean, we'll see what happens. I don't think it matters though to the team. I think they could have put anybody in the schedule, and I don't think they would have been like, oh, feel sorry for themselves or anything like that. I think you just go out and play, and then you play you play to win the game, right? You play to win the game.
Well, you're right. I don't think any of it really would have caught the team by surprise, because if you win the division, you play other division winners. I mean, you're naturally going to have a harder schedule the next season. So, yeah, I would doubt anybody was down. They're probably excited. I mean, nine nationally televised games, which is pretty huge. I mean, I have them all here, but you don't want to hear them. I saw something interesting on ESPN on Bottom Line this morning. It was showing some schedule stuff, and a thing went by that said there are 9 NFL rematches playoff rematches on the schedule, and I was like, damn, we account for a third of those games. Because, and crazily enough, the rematches for us are all at the same locations as they were in the playoffs. So Tampa Bay, LA at home, and at San Francisco. And so I was surprised they didn't at least mention some of that, because they're just like, oh yeah, there's 9 playoff rematches, like they're making a big deal of it. I mean, I was on the bottom line.
Right.
But I was like, shoot, man, yeah, that's something. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it was gonna be a tougher schedule. That's the cost of being good. So you have to accept that. I mean, the cost of being good is you have a wacky schedule with different times. You're not playing at 1:00, 14 weeks of the season, you know, and you're going to play good teams. And if you're that good, then you should accept that and go with it. And I think they are. So I think they believe they are, which is more important than me believing they are. Is that I'm pretty sure they believe they're that good.
They're higher up on the TV graphic on the 1 p.m. games. They always used to be like the 3rd or 4th one down.
Not even the top 1 p.m. game.
Next week at 9:30.
Well, yeah, man. It'll be fun to watch. A lot of good games, man. I mean,
I was gonna say a lot of good games. Looking at it right now,
I mean, at Houston, that's an interesting game. I feel like Chicago could end up being like Houston from last year, and that really pisses me off.
Yeah,
but it's easy to see that happening.
Yeah.
So
yeah. That week one in Detroit. Do you think they cheer him this time?
I think they
Or do
should.
they boo him?
I think they should.
I think they do. I think they do.
Are you going to take the belt off of J-Mo's face during that week?
No, what do you mean? Why would I take it? It's just J-Mo. It's just J-Mo back there.
I was just curious if you're going to pull the belt off of J-Mo for week one.
I really do think they should. But I do think they're going to chant Jared Goff instead. That's what I think is going to happen. And it's going to piss old Stafford off. They'll probably throw for like 5,000 yards that game or something.
I think the NFL put it. I think the NFL put it at night on purpose.
Oh, for sure. It's going to be.
They were like,
rowdy.
Let's see what they do. Yeah, dude.
Exactly. Yeah.
Week one.
Sure.
Oh, the place is going to be on fire.
He might receive more hate then than he did during the playoff game. I don't think he deserves it. But
maybe they get the drunk sentimental. You know, maybe it's a crowd full of sentimental drunks.
I don't know if Detroit is that type of town.
Week one, nationally televised game.
Like we were saying, I mean, he deserves some flowers, right? But at the same time, I was talking to a guy today, and he was asking, he's like, "Hey, do you pay attention to the Lions stuff?" I was walking by, and I was like, "Yeah, I check it out." You know, I was like, "I'm into it." And and I asked him if he thought that they were going to, he's like, "Nah, dude, Detroit, they're going to boo him, dude. Especially after all the crap his wife was talking and whatever."
Are they booing him or are they booing his wife? That's the question.
They should say, they should really enunciate the boo. F you, Kelly.
He's like, well, I get it.
Yeah, he's like, dude, I can't stand it. I was like, I got no choice.
He's like, we went through some shit here, you
know. Do they wear the same jackets, the wife and kids? Do they wear the same jackets like they did for the playoff game? The old half and half.
They should get booed for that.
The thing is, though,
that pissed me off as a Rams fan.
We should all appreciate Stafford because we wouldn't be in the position now if he didn't want to leave when he did. We wouldn't have nearly the same players. We wouldn't have gotten Goff.
He could have stayed.
He could have.
When the new regime came in.
Yeah, but
And he might have
man.
been better than Goff at the position.
actually, I saw a thing on the stats over the last 4 years. They're the same exact player on paper, stat wise, over the last 4 years. Goff
Could
actually
argue,
has less
though,
interceptions.
you could argue Goff has been better than, because, I mean, Stafford's had a receiving core in general over that time.
Yeah,
But
sure.
whatever.
No, I agree with that. Yeah,
Who knows?
without him,
Yeah.
we're not in this position. That's all I'm saying.
I think the NFL definitely
I'll put you
was
in a
like, all
position.
right, well, let's see what
Please.
let's see what they do. Let's see what happens, because they could have put that week 6, week
That's
7.
a prime
you know what
time
I
game.
mean?
That's
I thought it
a
was going to be.
playoff rematch, man. And you got to put that in a plus storyline. There's no way they bury that in a week 6.
Well, I mean, it could have been Sunday night football or Monday night. You know what I mean? But week 1, fresh off a playoff game against them.
Maybe you don't know this, Bill, but the NFL is trying to make money.
That's what I hear.
Lots of money.
I hear they don't make enough of it.
They could have put him against
no,
the 49ers.
no, they're not
there,
nearly
week
made
1.
enough.
Yeah. No, they put them week 16?
The Niners 17.
Yeah, 17.
Then the
In
Vikings
San
week 18.
Francisco. Awesome.
Yeah.
So, all right, time for the Tigers weekly update. Lost 4-6. Javi's, I think, the second worst hitter in baseball. I don't know at this point.
He's good.
Yeah,
He's turning it around.
Torque has 2 bombs.
Yeah,
That one
good
was a
to see.
shot, by the way.
Say there was
Oh.
one torque bomb for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lost 4-6, 2 straight series losses. Reese Olson pitched a really good game the other night, just for them not to score a run. That was
Casey Mize yesterday also pitched
Casey
an
Mize.
excellent game.
You guys, any thoughts on the Tigers?
Yeah. It was good to see Torque get out of that drought. I mean, let's see if he keep that up. I mean, there's no guarantees. Yeah, I mean, if it wasn't for their pitching, they wouldn't be in these games at all. so I don't know. We'll see what happens. They finally dipped below 500. So I don't know. We'll see
Finally.
what happens. I mean, at least they stayed above. I mean, they're technically doing better than they did a couple of seasons ago or last season. I can't remember. It's hard to mesh these things together these days.
Yeah. Those last 2 days were rough. For those listening, the last 2 days for us were the last 2 Miami games. And I feel bad for Reese Olson, man, especially. The kid just doesn't get run support at all. The team might hate him. Now we have 5 games where the Tigers have been shut out. Originally 4 when I wrote this, but now we have 5. He has started 3 of those games.
Yeah.
Kid's got a 2.09 ERA and can't get a win. The hitting, I wish I could say was up and down, but it's typically just down. That game Reese Olson pitched, we got 3 hits on their starter who pitched 8 innings. And that guy, I guess, is having a career year at a 3.88 ERA, which is huge for him because last year he was over a 7. But the Marlins are not good, man. You can't get shut out by the Marlins twice.
Yeah.
Do you know where the Marlins rank in total team ERA this season? Any idea?
Close to the bottom.
Yeah.
I'd say towards the top.
29th out of 30.
Dang, I was wrong.
And they shut us out twice.
Well, they're not the worst. So.
Yeah.
Our
Our hitting's abysmal. The
Yeah.
Tigers were tied for 6th worst in the league for hits, 7th worst in batting average, 5th worst OPS, 4th worst OBP. Any legitimate batting category, at best, we're tied for 7th worst.
Yeah.
Except
That's
for
no
one
mistake.
thing. We're tied for first with 10 triples in the league. So there's that. We can start cranking out triples. Apparently, that'll get us going, man. It's just tough to see great pitching performances get wasted. Urshela needs to get back after this injury that he's come back from. And I'll say it again because I'll say it every week. Sit Javi down. Over the last weekish, he's gone 2 for 21, which is a .095 batting average. So thanks for that. But yeah, I don't know if you can ask these pitchers to keep dealing like that and not get wins. That's tough, man. I'll take, I guess, 1 game under 500.
I was gonna say the fact that they're only 1 game below 500
with as bad as their batting has been
is why you should take a total dump on what they've done, on what the non-existent moves that were made to make this happen. Dude, Miami was in town, one of the worst teams in the league. You get shut out twice at home. When they got guys on their team we could probably trade for. I don't know. Jazz Chisholm is just wasting away now. I mean, the kid's not having an amazing year, but he's hitting 250, 260. That'd be like top 3 on our team right now.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Pretty
Put
good.
that guy at the top of our lineup.
Give them Javi.
I don't know.
Just give it to them.
I think the Orioles aren't
keep
doing
going.
great right now. They got some hitters.
They're 27 and 14.
Oh shoot. But they need pitchers.
but they need pitchers.
Dude, shoot over Manning and a draft pick and get, Holiday or somebody. I don't know.
Give them Javi.
Yeah, he'll be a throw-in.
Yeah.
And you get Javi. We'll pay half of his
Money.
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No
no,
kidding.
just keep the money. Screw it. They're already paying him anyway.
Yeah.
At least
At
pay
that
him to
point, send him
suck
to
some
Toledo. Maybe somebody will go watch him. They can collect a couple dollars, dude.
I'd go to Toledo. to watch
Yeah,
that.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. At that point, you might as well, if you're just going to give him away and still pay his contract, you might as well just send him to AAA, and people in Toledo might go watch.
Bring him to Grand Rapids.
Let him do a tour of the single A, double A, triple A affiliates. Just rotate.
Let's see how good he is in single A. Let's start there.
Honestly.
Let him work his way up.
Honestly.
Yeah.
See how he does. See if he can hit over 200 in Grand Rapids. Move him.
You
to
can hit
Erie.
over 200 in single A. We'll move you up to double.
It's like Billy Madison.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. You spend 2 weeks on each minor league team. We'll see what happens.
Crazy.
Terrible.
Yeah, Veronica.
And
Vaughn.
I just saw an article where he said, or AJ Hinch was like, we can't turn our backs on him.
I think that has to be upper management being like, hey, I'm paying him 40 to make sure he's out there.
The one
that's
thing
the only
is
real explanation.
we don't actually have an everyday shortstop, even in the minors, that's very good. But I'm like, dude, I mean, just patch it together with like McKinstry and Vierling and Jace Jung. I don't know. Like, just they're gonna hit better than he's doing, even as a platoon. It's kind of like what we've been doing at third base. It's just a mishmash of whoever.
Yeah.
It just pisses me off, honestly. The more I talk about it, it just kind of annoys me.
Yeah.
Whatever. Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. Hey, real quick, go Griffins, by the way. We're recording on Thursday. They won last night, which will be Wednesday.
Casper had a
Game
big goal
1.
in that, didn't he?
Goal and 2 assists. He's been playing pretty well, which is nice to see. Probably see him up in Detroit next year.
God
next
forbid
season.
they brought him up a few months ago. That's probably Lalonde's fault.
It's got to be.
It's definitely not Iserman. It'll never be.
You
Yzerman.
can't blame Iserman. You Steve
No.
Bots.
So yeah, go Griffins, man. That's
That is sweet.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're playing really well. Not something we ever talk about, but the Grand Rapids Rise, the women's volleyball team, they're in the championship in the professional volleyball.
I heard
Hey, that's-
Casper had a huge spike in that one.
He's everywhere.
They knew when to bring him up.
No, it is really cool. It's their first year, and it's like an actual professional volleyball league. And
Hey, Bill, I saw something I thought you would have wished would have happened, that MHSAA is adding boys volleyball
that's cool.
into one of the spring season too, I think.
Would
you have given up baseball to play that?
for sure?
That's what I thought.
For sure.
Yeah.
Dean and I have a coworker. His sons are on Lowell's volleyball team, and they're really good. But his sons are like 6'7" and 6'8".
Have they been identifying otherwise? They're just crushing it.
Yeah,
I have no idea.
yeah. No,
Oh, so they're playing boys volleyball. That's
Yeah.
what you're saying?
Oh yeah. My bad. Yeah, because I think right now it's a club sport.
Yeah.
So, no, yeah, I would have definitely quit baseball, play volleyball. Outside hitter, I would be.
Right up at the net.
Yeah, right up in the net. Yeah,
I'd be
for sure.
subbed out of that front row so fast. Anyways, I do love volleyball. So, all right. Well, good episode. Glad we got a whole episode of news. That was nice. Hopefully, we can get another week of that. Thank you for everyone for watching this week's episode. If you liked what you watched or heard, be sure to like the video and hit us up with a comment in regards to how you feel about Goff's contract or what game you're excited to see this coming season with the Lions, if it's week 1 or week 17 against San Francisco. Let us know how you feel about the Tigers. You know, I'm sure you feel the same way. Vent to us. Let us know. So hit the logo next to Eddie to subscribe. If you're on YouTube watching this, hit the notification bell so you know when we come out with our next new episode. If you're listening, subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much. For Dean and Eddie, this is Bill saying everyone have a great week and see you soon.
Sports.